Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel, and hi if you're new here, I'm Jade and it is time for the TBR jar. Now before we start this, I will say I am a little overwhelmed with reading lately. I feel like I'm not keeping up enough. I just feel a little overwhelmed with the size of my TBR. So if you saw last week's video, you may notice I've started something new called my TBR Takedown project, and that is things that are going to encourage me to really start working through this backlog of books. So for my first part of that series last week, I committed myself to 5 books for the summer. And then each month I'm going to try and do something that's going to encourage me to start reading more of these rather than new books or things on my Kindle, because I do really need to start reducing this down for sure. It's just getting a little overwhelming. And I'll be honest, this month, I don't think I am going to finish my TBR jar picks from last month. So they are going to roll over into next month, but I don't want to chicken out. I want to commit to this so that I am still getting things off. So next month, I just have to be really committed to reading. And also work's going to be a bit busier. It is school holidays. So naturally, I get a few extra people for singing that want to learn that have more time than they usually do. But at the same time, when it's school vacation, I am not so inclined to just go out myself on the days because it's busier. So I feel like I should just commit myself to enjoying my new rocking chairs outside and reading. And I did join another online book club, so I'm technically committed to 4 books a month through book clubs as well, which is why I'm only going to do 3 picks on my TBR jar as usual, because I'm always committed to so much else. But I am determined that next month, between videos that are going to encourage me to, and just a commitment to only buying the books I'm most excited about releasing, I'll get to the others another time, that hopefully we can start bringing this down. I would like to, by the end of this year, ideally be able to fit all of my books onto this cart, or just one pile at the side. Right now we have 3 piles at the side, books in my cupboard, and this, which is just way too many. So without further ado, let's get on. Let's do the first pick and see what I'm reading next month. Okay, number 1. Oh God, I feel like I've got more than one. I don't know why I don't open my eyes when they're folded, but I just like to have my eyes closed. Ooh, a blue one this time. Title starts with a letter between H and P. So it's an alphabet one. So yeah, basically the title has to start in this part of the alphabet. So this could give me a few choices. Give me a second, let me go through everything, and we'll see what we find. So I'll be honest here, I feel like I could have gone through and found a lot to choose from, so I thought the easiest way to do it when I'm just picking something beginning with the letter H to P in the alphabet is literally the first ones I saw that were in that part of the alphabet I just pulled off. And I pulled off the first 3 I saw, and the rest are just staying there, because then it gives us 3 to think about and pick from. So the first one I spotted was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Yeah, I've wanted to read this for a very long time. I know it's obviously a movie, and I keep being told you need to see the movie, but I keep not watching it because I want to read it first. So I mean, this may be a good option. However, I have heard this is sad. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard it's sad, and I don't know if I'm really in the mood for something sad right now. Usually I love a good crying to a book, but honestly I have been feeling a little stressed lately, and I'm just not sure that I want something to add to that feeling. But I believe this is a love story between 2 characters, and I do quite like romance in the summer. But I believe this follows 2 people called Lou and Will, and they're in different situations, and obviously their paths cross, and it's just sort of their story, I believe. Then the next one I spotted straight away was One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. What I do like about this one is I just have not read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book for a while, and I do really like her books, so this one's tempting for that reason. Again, another romance, but I think it's a little bit complicated. So what I believe happens in this one is about a woman whose husband goes missing. She later gets remarried, and then he re-shows up. So obviously a very awkward, difficult to navigate situation. And then the third one I spotted was How to Read a Book by Monica Wood. Out of the 3, this is the newer one to my TBR, I believe. But I have been really wanting to read this, really badly. And if I'm honest, I don't know a lot about what this is about, but I think it's about 3 people that happen to meet in a bookstore, and then they get talking, and I don't know if it's their life stories or what. If I'm honest, I haven't read into it too much. I just saw so many good reviews on it that I kind of want to pick it up. So you know what? I'm going to make this one easy for myself. I'm going to go with this one because with my summer video from last week, I already have quite a lot of romance on my TBR, and I still don't know what other prompts I'm going to get, and maybe I'll pick romance. So I feel like this is the most unique that I can pick, and I think this would be a good addition to sort of mix up my TBR for next month, especially as I'm going to have things rolling over, so I already know I'm going to have quite a lot of fancy and romance going through next month. So let's go for prompt 2. Pink one has a person on the cover. Now, it doesn't state whether it has to be like real life or cartoon, but it just says person on the cover. So I guess either counts. So let me have a look through, see what ones have people on the cover, and I will be back with you. Okay, very quickly I realized that I feel like nearly every cover has a person on it. If it's cartoon, real, whatever, I feel like at least half of them do. So it made this a little tricky. So I decided to add my own criteria, and I picked ones with real people on the front cover. Because first off, I spotted Bridgeton. I have still not tried the Bridgeton series, even though I love the TV show. So obviously we have our little characters from the TV show here. So that is an option. It has real people. And for those that don't know about Bridgeton, it is a sort of more Regency era based novel. And this is sort of Daphne's book and about her courtship. So yeah, that is an option. And then once I'd committed to having real people on the cover, instantly I spotted To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now this is a book that I considered getting rid of before reading, and I am still undecided on that. But there's a part of me that's like, maybe I should just pick it and read it and get it out of my system, because I kind of suspect I'm not going to like it that much. The reason being is I wasn't a huge fan of the Summer I Turned Pretty series, but again, this is a movie that I've been put off watching because I wanted to read it first. So there's a part of me that's like, I should just read this. If I don't like it, I can unhaul it. I know I don't like it, and I don't feel bad about unhauling it. So I do feel like this could be a good option. And I believe this is about a girl that writes like love letters for like every crush she has, and they get leaked. So, you know, interesting concept, I guess. I think it's much more YA, but there is a part of me that's like, I should just read this so I can get rid of it. And then thirdly, to change it up a little bit, there is Sweet Francaise by Irene Nemirovsky. This is a movie I watched a long time ago and I loved it, so I bought the book and then put it off so that I don't really remember the story, and I don't now, so it would be a fine choice. And this is about a woman waiting for her husband who has been taken during the war. However, Nazis are stationed with them, and she starts to fall for the Nazi that is positioned with them. So a kind of love triangle, complicated love idea again. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the plot, you know, of One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, although very different setting. This is a war. So I mean, this definitely falls more into historical fiction, I think, than romance. So which of those three do I pick for person on the cover? As usual, I do generally want to read most of the things. This is the only one I'm not 100% sure I want to read anymore. But I did, you know, want to read it before I read The Summer I Turned Pretty. So you know what? I'm just going to commit. I'm going to read this so I can get it out if I don't like it. And if I'm wrong and I love it, it can stay in my library. But I have a feeling I'm not going to enjoy this that much. And then it gives me that freedom to go add it to a free little library and give it to someone who might love it. So yeah, person on the cover, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Okay, and time for our third and final pick. Let's hope we get something good. I can't like grab anything. It's like every time I try it slips out my hand, and I feel like I just flick loads out the jar again, didn't I? Okay, I've got a green one in my hand. Okay, and I did flick a pink one out, but we're not using that. And we have has sat on your TBR for over a year. Well, it's a very, very good prompt considering I'm trying to remove things off of here. I feel like it's good to get something that's been here a long time. Gotta say though, there's probably still quite a few to choose from, embarrassingly. So I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna pick out 3 that appeal to me quite a lot, and then we'll pick from them, I think. Because yeah, if I'm to pull all of them off, we're gonna have such a choice. And I think 3 is a good amount to like pick from and consider. You know, more of these are newer than I realised. Like there was a few I was like, they're probably around a year, but are they over a year? I'm not sure. So I picked a few that I know 100% have been sitting around for a while. And I've tried to go for things that are a little bit different for everything that's already on my TBR. Because like I said, I kind of want to read everything, so it's not like, oh, I'm struggling to pick because I just don't feel like any of them. It was just hard to pick because I'm like, there is a few to pick from. So I headed over to my cupboard full of thrillers first because, you know, I don't want to neglect that cupboard because I know you probably think I'm not checking it. And the first one I pulled out was The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. I haven't read a Lisa Jewell book in a little while, so it is tempting. I know I've had this over a year because I know I bought it as soon as I moved to America, and I've been here 2 years. So that's why I know. This is definitely over a year. And I believe this is about two people that go to a party and don't make it home. The next one I reached for was Sweet Little Lies by Frear. I know this has been on my TBR for longer than a year because my cousin gifted this to me just before I left the UK. It was a book of hers she thought that I would really enjoy. So I kind of like that, you know, it's something that someone's given me and recommended to me. Honestly, don't know that much about what it's about, but I think it's about a woman that's gone missing and detectives trying to solve it in the present day. Like, I think it's something that happened a long time ago and they're like now reworking the case, I think. And the third one I picked up as an option is Jeffrey Eugenides' The Virgin Suicides. I don't know if this is like classic status or anything yet, but I know that it is a movie. I know that it's quite popular, but it's just not something I've picked up. A friend gifted this to me once. And I think because I don't really know anything it's about, that's kind of why I just haven't picked this one up at all. But I thought it would be a good third option. But yeah, I just feel like all of these are a little bit different to everything that's already been picked. But you know what? I'm going to go with Sweet Little Lies because, you know, my cousin gifted this to me. It's intrigued me because she doesn't read a lot, mainly because of time, I think. And the fact that, you know, she gave this to me thinking I'd like it, I think it makes me intrigued and I want to read it. And so this is going to be a bit of a murder mystery thriller, I believe. So I think it's a good addition to the TBR. So just a quick reminder of what we have picked. We have How to Read a Book by Monica Wood, for the title starts with the letters H to P in the alphabet. To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, for Person on the Cover. And Sweet Little Lies by Frear, for Sat on Your TBR for Longer Than a Year. So combined with what I picked last month, which will probably be rolling over, at least two of the books are definitely going to be rolling over. It's my fault. I committed myself to too many other books this month. And I've just had a busy month because I went away for a weekend and things like that. So yeah. So please stick around and subscribe if you want to see if I actually make it through this TBR, and if you want to help me on my journey and encourage me on my journey to make it through all of these books at some point. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I picked today, and I will see you again real soon. Bye!